Happy Crafternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stampin' Chat Live. I am Gina from Gina K Designs, and it's great to see all of you coming in from all around the world. I see everybody coming in the comments and letting us know where you're from. That is great to see. Today we're going to have a little bit of fun because I'm going to be playing with our new Master Layouts 14 die set. Now, I know this one's sold out, but it's already on order, and they told us just a couple of weeks we'll have it back in stock. For those thousands of you who got the die set, I'm sure you want more ideas. And for those of you that are on the Notify Me list, as soon as it comes in, you'll get an email and you can save all of these videos and make some of these things yourself. So the Master Layouts 14 is an amazing die set, and it creates a postage grid, and then it's got some other elements in there as well that I've used in other videos already. I'm going to get to that in just a minute, but before I do, let's say hello to Tom. Hey, Tom.
Happy Crafternoon, everybody. How you doing out there?
Well, I'm doing great. I'm doing great today. We are having a good day at Gina K Designs, aren't we?
Glad to be here. A lot of good energy flying around here.
Absolutely.
Everybody's busy.
Everybody's busy. Everybody's working and coming up with new ideas, and it's really exciting.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm back in the dead space, waiting. Got a few, working on some words of the day.
Oh,
so
good.
We'll see what happens.
Oh, good. That's going to be fun. We love that. All right.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to show everybody the die set that I'm talking about. Now, I have mine put on magnetic boards here, but you don't have to do that. You can just keep them kind of in a pocket like this. That's normally the way I keep them. But when I get a new set and I'm working on it a lot, I like to have some magnetic boards to keep it kind of organized and right on my desktop. I'm going to be doing a card with this one very soon because a lot of people are asking about this one and how to make this one work. And I have a really cool idea that I want to show you using this one. And these two go across the center of the cards, like this video that I did last week. They create these borders, and the large one creates it horizontally, and the smaller one creates the border vertically. But what I'm going to be using today is the postage grid, and I'm probably going to be using this backer die too. This one actually is the same size as the plain die in Master Layouts 1, the smaller of the two plain dies. And a lot of you were asking for a stitch die that would work with Master Layouts 1 and do a layer. So this one works with the postage die to give you a little layer of stitching, but it also works with our Master Layouts 1 die, and you can use the larger of the two rectangles to create a shadow layer behind this. So I'm going to be using these two dies today, and I've already cut this one out because I wanted to save a little bit of time because I'm going to be doing a lot of things today. So I wanted to save a little bit of time just by cutting this out first. Now, I'm also going to be using this stamp set that came in the kit, and this will be available a la carte in our March release. This is called Spring Friends. I thought it would be fun to show you how to get these all into these little boxes and how all of this works. So that's what we're going to do today, and then I'm going to show you how to modify this die piece to do something completely different with it. Now, this was designed to do this. So you can either stamp individual images in these boxes, or you can do something like this where you do a full stamp or a full layered stencil or even a single stencil over it. And you can either stamp or stencil over this. This is called, wait a minute, I don't have my glasses on. So this is called the Postage Grid stencil. So you would put this on top, and then you could either stamp or stencil on top of that, or if you want your design to kind of go outside of the lines a little bit, like I did on this card, you can just use masking magic. The 1/4" masking magic would go right in there. So these two cards, I use this die in a traditional way, but I'm going to modify it for my cards, for my card, single card, today. So let's start by stamping some of these images into this grid. I am going to get my Misty out, and then I'm going to stamp everything all at once. Now, I do not want this to move in case I have to stamp it a couple times, and I know we have a magnet, and the magnet works great for most things, but when you're dealing with something that is this detailed, sometimes I like to just tape it down onto my Misty. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just taping it down onto the Misty just to make sure that, you know, after I stamp these, that if anything happens, it's going to stay in place. Plus, it's tucked into this corner here, so we've got a couple safeguards. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick several of these images, probably going to use them all, and I'm going to pick a box for each one. So I'm going to just line these all up, make sure that they're straight. Let's see here. I think, actually, I might put the bunny up in that top corner there. Maybe I'll put this one down here. I'll put the bunny up in the top corner, just because he's kind of facing this way, so I don't want him facing away from everything else. And remember, you can always turn this grid. Here's another one that I cut out. You can always turn it this way and do a completely different look. This is a great die set for all of those little stamps that you have in your collection that you're not sure what to do with. This is a great way to make use of them. And I will tell you a secret, just for my viewers, that we are expanding on this in our March release. So you're definitely going to want to have this because you're going to have so much fun with what's coming too. And we really like to try to, you know, create products that build on each other. You guys know that from some of Melanie's sets and stuff like that. We really love to try to do the build. All right, and this little chickadee can go right here. He could also go down in the bottom box. I think those boxes are the same size though. So we'll just put them up here because again, I'll be modifying this anyway. Okay, so now we've got all of these in place and we're going to just pick all of these stamps up at one time. And now we're going to stamp them all at the same time. So I'm using black Onyx ink. It's a fast drying ink and it works great with Copic markers. You know, when you're looking for an ink that's going to work great with Copic markers and it's going to dry quickly, our black Onyx dye ink is the ticket. If you're looking for something that you can use Copic markers, colored pencils and Gamsol, and watercolor, then our amalgam ink is the ticket. But amalgam ink dries a little bit more slowly, so you do want to either heat set that or, you know, just give it a little bit of time to dry. But since we're not going to be doing any watercolor, that's the big difference between amalgam and black Onyx, is the ability to watercolor. We're not going to be doing any watercolor today. We're going to go straight away with the black Onyx.
And a question,
Yes.
some confusion. Are you building on the master layout or the small stamp set?
Both. A little bit. You talk about for the next release?
Do you mean, another person asked, Pat asked, do you mean build on stamp or die?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Okay. So, here we go. I'm going to stamp this, and I am going to use my Chucky tool just to get a little pressure on there, but I don't want to press super hard because these are very delicate images, and I want them to be able to not lose their detail. So, you know, it's better to layer up your ink, do a couple layers, than to smash it down too hard trying to get the ink to transfer. You can get the ink nice and black just by doing a few layers and you won't lose any of the detail. I am going to move this because I want to make sure that that actually gets actually touches better. I think the magnet was preventing it from touching there. Okay, yep, there we go. I'm gonna do one more layer. This is, like I said, delicate, delicate lines, but you can see how nice and crisp they are when you just give it that light, you know, that light touch. I mean, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on that, but look how pretty those are. Okay, so now we've got all of those in place. Now, I'm gonna move this out of the way, and then I'm gonna get just a plain piece of white cardstock. Let's see if I can find one here. I'm going to cut down this one to a 1/4 sheet. Actually, no, that's not what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to use a sheet of Masking Magic. So this is masking paper. Now, if you don't have Masking Magic, you can still do this with Post-it note paper, but you have to make sure that you either have the Post-it note paper that's entirely sticky on the back, or that you get a good portion of the image where the part that sticks down. It's not as easy. You're better off using Masking Magic for this, but you know, sometimes people can't wait and they want to try something, so you could try it on Post-it note paper. But Masking Magic is so cool because you can use it over and over and over again. And I'm going to show you that too. Okay, so I'm going to cut this down. Let's see. Just going to cut this down to about 4 inches. Let's just make sure that this is all going to, yep, that's all going to fit on there. Okay, probably could have cut it down to like 3 3/4 inch, but, well, yeah, I could have, because this grid is 3.5 inches. So, yes, I could have cut it smaller, but that's all right. Now I'm going to ink this up. Got my Masking Magic sheet. This is not the strips. This is the sheets. And I am going to stamp this Masking Magic paper. And you don't have to worry about getting a phenomenal image. You just want to make sure that you can see all the parts of the image. So to me, that is plenty good enough. I love Masking Magic too, Kathy. It really is one of those things that I didn't know that I couldn't live without it, and then once I got it, I just can't live without it. You know, it's so good. Now, we're not done with this stamp set yet, but I am going to put these images away because we are done with these. Okay. Now, I just don't want to lose anything because it's hard enough trying to keep track of everything here. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, and I'm going to get a pair of scissors, and I'm going to just do a little fussy cutting. I'm not going to cut them all out. You don't need to see me cut them all out. But they're not difficult to cut out, and you don't have to do this, you know, more than once, really, because you can reuse these things over and over again. So I'm just going to cut out one of these images. All right. So I'm going to, you just want to make sure you have nice, good, sharp scissors. I'm just going to cut this right along the line. And if you cut into it a little bit too much, don't worry about it. You know, you're going to be close enough. Okay. And see down here in all this mess down here, I'm not going to worry too much. I'm not going to try to get it like so super close that I might go in like that and then come back around. And when you're fussy cutting, it's actually easier to turn the paper than to turn the scissors. Do you see how I'm doing that? I'm turning the paper. My scissors are kind of staying in place. And I'm just turning the paper. I get, you know, get it right in there. And that just makes it a little easier.
Fussy cutting takes us all back to like first grade.
It really does, yeah. Those were the good old days where you would use your scissors and, I don't know, it's kind of fun. Okay, so you can see I didn't cut all down into those areas there. And that's totally fine. And I want to talk about like some of these other images and how to cut them. But again, you know, I'm not trying to cut right along that line. It's not going to work. I can't cut just a single skinny line like that. But it's going to be okay because what we're doing is we're going to be using these masks to do a little stenciling. And I just think this is one of the most fun techniques ever to use masking paper. And I'll show you something else too that you can do with the masking paper. With the mask, rather. But I'm not going to use it on my card, but I will show you. Alrighty. Okay, so that is fussy cutting a mask. Now, for the chicken, obviously, don't cut around the legs. Just cut the legs off. Because it doesn't matter if ink gets around there. You know, I mean, ink is going to get around the legs anyway, but it's not like there's any open areas on the legs. So just cut those legs off and then cut out the rest of the chicken that way. Now let's cut this one because I want to, no, I'm going to, let's see. Yeah, let's cut this one. I think this one's really cute. So I'm going to cut this one, because I'm going to use this for a fun little technique that I want to show you. Okay. And I'm also going to need the bunny, I think. But I also have the bunny cut out already, so I could show you with the ones that I already cut out. This way you don't have to watch me fussy cut too much. But again, I just want to show you that it doesn't take forever to do that. And once you have these masks cut, you can use them over and over again. In this case, here are my masks that I used for another project that I made. And did you see how I cut into that flower by mistake there? That's okay. Don't worry about that. You don't have to start over. It'll still work just fine. But fussy cutting is something that some people love and some people absolutely hate. But I think that if you're a person that says that you don't like to fussy cut, it might be because you're trying to fussy cut when you're in the mood to craft. That's not when I really like to do my fussy cutting. I like to do my fussy cutting when I'm sitting on the couch, kind of watching a TV show and just listening to what's going on in the show. I like to fussy cut when I'm not sure what I want to make, or I'm kind of lost my mojo and I want to do something creative. That's a great time to make some of your masks that you can keep with your stamp set. Alrighty. So really I need the bunny, but I am going to cut this one out and I'm going to use that today on my card that I'm making for you. And I'll use this bunny for my other little show and tell thing that I want to show you. All right. So.
That's extremely fussy cutting.
It is fussy. But there we go. So I've got a couple of them, and then I can use these other masks. And I'll save those because I'll still cut them. I like to have some backup masks once in a while. I already used these on another card, but we're going to use them again. But before we do that, I just want to show you something else that you can do that's kind of fun with this, with the masks. So let's say you wanted to stamp a bunny, but you wanted the bunny to be sitting on top of a house. So what you're going to do is you're going to stamp the bunny first. Whatever you want to be forward in your project, you're going to stamp first. So I'll stamp this bunny with a little black ink. I am going to zoom out a little because this is like kind of close. So I'm going to stamp this bunny first. This is just a little technique that so many of you guys already know, but my newer people, my newer stampers who, like, they're brand new, they haven't seen any of this stuff. This is kind of a fun technique to learn. And I remember when I learned it and I was like, oh, is that how you do that? That is so cool. Okay, so I've got the bunny there. Now I want the bunny to be sitting on top of this house. Okay? But I don't necessarily want the house, I don't want him to be sitting right on top of the house like that. I kind of want him to be sitting more like, we could even have him sitting more on the side of the house like this. Okay? So what I need to do is I need to mask off the bunny. So I'm going to take my bunny mask and I'm going to put that right on top. And the reason why this mask is pink is because I've already done some work using this mask before. And then I want the bunny to kind of be like sitting on the edge of the roof here. Like that. Okay. So now we're going to pick up this and we're going to stamp this. And it's going to stamp right over the mask. And of course, many of you know this technique already, so bear with me and bear with our newbies so they can kind of see how this would work. Stamp it one more time. Okay. So now you can see, looks kind of weird like that, but when we pull the mask off gently, now he's sitting on top. You see that? How that looks? Isn't that so cute? Now he's like just sitting on the edge of the roof there with his egg. So that's a really fun thing to do with masking magic. If you wanted, I gotta do one more. Okay, let's say you want to do this little chicken. Okay, let's flip this over. You want to do this little chick. Pull this off. So now I've got the little chick. I'm going to stamp him a couple times. All right, so we've got a little chick there. Now we're going to mask the chicken off. And you can see on my chicken, I don't have any legs because it doesn't really matter all that much. So I'm going to just place him right there. And now we want him to kind of be like standing on the bunny's head. Like that. And we want him to be in front of the bunny. So I'm going to stamp the bunny now. Stamp the bunny again. Want him to be nice and dark. Okay. So now, let me find my tweezers so I don't tear any of these because I need them for my actual card. Now if we take this little chicken off here, come on. I really put that on there good. Oh, there we go. Okay, so if I pull the chick off, now you see, he's on top of the bunny's head. See how it blocked off the ear? His little basket is in front of the ear. So there's the chick just standing there on the bunny's head. Here's the bunny just sitting on the edge of the roof. So I just wanted to show you that because masking magic and using these masks, there's so many fun ways to use them. And that is just kind of a fun little extra technique I thought I would throw in today. Just because it's there, you know, it's there for you to see. Okay, now we are going to go back to this and this. All right, so I am going to just kind of tap those down because they do have some tape on that does have some tape on the back. Let me zoom out just a little bit. And now we're going to put these masks back on each one of these little areas. Okay, so let's just get it lined up. They're not too hard to line up. Put the bunny up here. I don't even think I'll be using all these, but might as well do them because we can. And then this one we already cut out, so let's peel this one. Since this one's new, you can see what a new mask looks like.
Pam wants to know, how do you store your masks?
I just tape them right onto the stamp set pocket. So this way they're always ready to go. When I pull out that stamp set, it kind of reminds me that I can do that technique too. And, you know, it's right there for me. Here's another one that I did today. I do like to use the tweezers sometimes, but other times it's just easier to use your fingers. So whatever works for you. Okay. And then the final one is this one. I'll just use the one that's here. Looks like I tore that corner a little bit, but that's all right. It'll be fine. Let's get it in place. There we go. Okay. I did cut the handle out of that just so I could get a little ink in there. And the way to do that is just kind of poke your scissor through there and then just cut around. But once you do the masks, you know, you can reuse them, and you can see that here I'm reusing. Now we're going to use this stencil, and we're going to put the stencil on top. And I think I was telling you guys this before, that the way to line up this stencil is not to try to look at the boxes. That's really hard to do because it's really close to the edge. I find the best way to line up the stencil is to look at the dots and the stitching. I don't know, man, it might be hard to see, but if you look at the dots and the stitching, just get that even, and if that is even, then the boxes are all going to be even. So I hope that that makes sense. You can kind of see, look around, and just shift it around a little bit so that everything looks pretty even. Is there a question, Tom? I didn't see that.
No, that was a comment from Madge.
Oh, what'd she say?
She said, watching Gina craft is so relaxing. If someone watched me, they'd probably sell all their supplies and take up another hobby.
Madge. That's funny. Okay, so now I've got this all tacked down. Now we are going to do some stenciling. So what I want to do here, obviously, is I want to create some background behind these little animals without actually covering the animals, because I want the animals to stay white so that I can color them in different colors that I want to use. So let's pick some colors here. We'll go with a pink for this. And we will go with a green. I'll use Jelly Bean here for this one. That looks pretty close. And then the other ones we can kind of pick as we go. Let's do Sea Glass. I'm trying to do colors that will be very springy. Maybe a light purple, like lovely Lavender. Those would be pretty, right? And I think 4 is going to be enough, but you know, I'm going to do one more just to be on the safe side. I'll do like Sweet Mango. Give me a second to pull it down. Should have done this earlier, but you know. So there's going to be my color palette. Very Eastery, very fun. And I want to get a blending brush. Let's find a blending brush here. I need a paper towel. I don't know what color is on that from before, but it is a pink blending brush, so we'll just brush off whatever was on there before. Oh, yellow would be good too. Well, you know what? We're going to get yellow in here because I'm going to be coloring this chick in yellow. So we're going to have yellow in there too. I promise. Okay, so I'm going to ink up my blending brush with some light Carnation, and I want to block off this area. So you can use Masking Magic. You could just use some Post-it notes real quick right on the stencil itself just to block the box.
So Sherry is a little nervous. She thinks that maybe the stencil moved a little bit.
Oh, really?
She said maybe it's just the angle.
It might just be the angle. I think it looks okay, But Sherry, we're all going to find out at the same time. So maybe it did move a little. Might have moved a little. Yeah, it might have. Let's see what happens. Let's just take a shot. Okay. So I'm going to start by creating this nice little pink around the outside here. Okay. She might be right. You guys see more than I see. Okay. I'm going to say, Sherry, you're probably right, but I'm going to go with it being better than horrible, and we'll all be okay with that. All right, so I'm going to keep these two, like, I'm going to use this one for this, and I'm going to use the green for this. So I will use purple up here. Just this lovely lavender. Such a nice light purple. Let me get a purple blending brush. This blending brush is going to have way too much ink on it, I think. So let's... You know, you don't always, when you're doing something like this, you don't always even need to ink up the brush. You can just brush off whatever dark purple is on your brush, or whatever dark color is on your brush. Because if you're just going for a light mist, just leave whatever's on the brush, and then just use that color. So that's what I'm going to do here. This is one of the lilacs. I think it was medium lilac was the last color I used on here. But I brushed it off, so, like, brushed it off onto this paper towel, most of the colors, so that's not too bad. All right, now we'll go into here with the sea glass.
We've had a few questions about some inventory items, and we just want to remind everybody that that's not something we have access to here during the live.
Yeah, it's really hard for us, and we don't even know anyway, like when things are coming in. We only know when they're coming in when they come in. There's so much stuff going on right now with shipping, and, you know, it's just taking a while to get things. And when they tell me something is coming in, they don't give me a date. They just say it's shipped, and it'll get there when it gets there. And even when I see a date, like I had a freight delivery coming a couple weeks ago, and they gave me a date, and I made the mistake of sharing that date, and then it didn't end up coming for 2 weeks. And a lot of people were really mad at me because I said, you know, this was the date it was coming in. So I did tear this. I'm just putting it back. And I'll still reuse this as a mask. I am not opposed to paper piecing back together. Okay, so this is going to be green. Yeah, so sorry we can't help you more with that. We just don't, we'd rather surprise you than disappoint you. And it seems like it's more likely to disappoint people when we give them a date and then it doesn't happen. Oh, that's a nice green on here. This is a little jelly bean that's already on here. Okay. Love, love. Now we're going to do this last one. I did remove that. The masking magic is not very tacky, so sometimes it can come off when you're using it to hold down a stencil. And what was the last color I wanted to use here? Oh, sweet mango. I'm using new Post-it notes because I just don't want to contaminate my sweet mango with some of that green that's on there. The best way, though, to know when something comes back in stock is to get on the Notify Me list. Because as soon as it goes back into stock, it triggers an email to everybody that's on that Notify Me list. Before, like, people can even, like, find it in the store, it sends out, the minute the number gets put in, it sends out an email, which is kind of nice. Okay. So now I've got my little misted masking magic in the background. So this peeled off so you can see I've got my white bunny back there. Peel this off. See, that doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look too shifted, if it was shifted. Now I'm going to peel the rest of these masks off. There's my white little birdhouse there. And my little chick. My little watering can that peeled, but I'll just put those two pieces there because I'll paper piece them again. And let's see here. I didn't put the birdhouse one on. I forgot to put it on because remember I said, oh, I'm probably not going to need it, so I'm not going to worry about it. Well, that one's very orange, but we won't use that one because I'm only going to use these 4. Okay, here's the mask for it. Dummy me. Now I'm going to do a little bit of coloring here. So I'm going to, for the bunny, I'm not going to do much. I'm just going to do some light gray. So maybe something like this. I always like to have a little piece of scrap paper here just to check the color and see if I like it. So I'm just going to do like a little bit of gray around the edge, just kind of on the one side here. And then just up the one side of his ear here. And maybe even a little on the egg, although the egg I might color in. So just to create like a little bit of a shadow there, because I still want him to be white. And now let's get some pink cheeks. So this color was N0. And now I'm going to do some pink cheeks. So I'm using RV10. Actually, this is really pink. You think that's too pink? Probably not if we do some of the other flowers in this color. We'll just make his cheeks really pink there. And then I'm going to keep this pink out because I want to have some more things the same. So I will do these flowers in this pink. And again, I'm not doing, you're not going to find any fancy coloring here. I'm just coloring. I'm using my Copic markers like I was a 2nd grader given a coloring sheet to keep me busy in school. That's the way I'm coloring.
Kathy suggested just glue the mask over the house and you'll have a white design again.
Well, I could do that, yeah.
You could paper piece too.
I could paper piece it, yeah. That would probably be, because I can't really color the same way over the masking magic, but if I paper pieced it, I could do that. Okay, so now we've got some of those flowers, and I just dropped my cap. So now let's get some bright yellow. I forget who said they wanted yellow, but yellow is always good. Oh, you know what? I don't want to put these colors away because I want to list them in the video, and I don't want to forget what they are. This is a good yellow. Let's make some yellow tulips here, because tulips come in yellow. And then we'll do some yellow tulips here. And then we'll do the little chick in yellow. We'll just make him all yellow. Now sometimes, especially when you're working with yellow, if you don't wait long enough for your ink to dry, it can run a little bit into the yellow. I don't see that happening here. Maybe just a little, but if I heat set it, it would be fine. And you see in the middle of this basket right here, so I'm going to pick a blue. And it's going to be more of a turquoisey blue. Let's see. This might be too green. Not too bad. I'm just going to color in there with a little bit of turquoise. So this way it doesn't look so stark white in there. Just takes it down a notch. And now I'm going to use, gotta use some red. I use a little bit of red in here just to brighten things up a little bit. So this is R27. So we'll do this a little. Honestly, I am in the process of changing all my nibs. I've had nibs sitting in my drawer for 5 years, and I want to change all of the nibs to the little tiny bullet tip ones.
So a couple of people have asked, why not just use the dies for these?
Because the dies are going to give you a white edge around the outside, and I don't want a white edge around the outside. I want everything to be right on the postage stamp, and I want it to not have any white edge around the outside at all. If that makes sense, hopefully it does. What is this color? This is G21. That's kind of nice in there. I think I might color in here a little bit with that, just to fill that in a little bit. That looks good. And then I'm going to pick a darker green or a brighter green, a more vibrant green. This is apple green. This looks really fun. Oh yeah. And then we'll color these leaves in this bright green. And you could do this with colored pencils. You can do this with watercolor. If watercolor is your preferred medium, just make sure you use the right kind of ink for watercolor. I love to color. I just, I just don't practice being great at it. Getting all my colors together though. Okay, so for this egg, let's make the egg like a turquoise, a brighter turquoise to kind of match what's going on down here. So this one is BG53. So I am gonna color over that gray a little bit. I'm just gonna leave the dots open. And I think I'll color those in some little pastel colors. And you can really take your time and do lots of shading if you know how to do that. Also, if you use like colored pencils and Gamsol, you can get a lot more shading without a lot of experience. I think we need to make his ears pink in there too, but I'm gonna go with a much lighter pink. So this is R11. I don't know if this is going to be a lighter. Yeah, that looks better. We'll just color these in. I'm just grabbing colors. I'm not making sure everything matches properly. That's for sure. Now we need a brown, but I want to go with like a light brown. So this is E21. It's more of a tan. I don't think that's good. Let's find something just a hair darker. E43, dull ivory. Oh, that looks better. Okay, so we'll color this in dull ivory. We don't want it to be super dark, but we definitely want it to look like wood. So Tom, while I'm coloring this in, would you like to share a word of the day? You said you were going to have one.
Okay, so time for word of the day. A timely distraction, or not so timely distraction. Okay, the word of the day, words of the day.
Oh, you have more than one?
Yeah, variations. Theme.
Oh, a series.
Theme and variations. Take me back to my Rubank elementary music books from the kid. They had themes and variations. So, anyway, we're talking about opinions. We live in a very opinionated society. And so, if you happen to have no opinion whatsoever, you're being no-opinionated. Okay? And then if you have a derogatory take on something, you might have a low opinion of something. And if you're taking your time coming around to coming up with an opinion, you're expressing a slow opinion.
That's me.
Slow opinion. Okay, and then if you're expressing an opinion, but it's not really true, you're expressing a faux opinion.
I love it.
And finally, if you come bursting through the door shouting your opinion, you're expressing a whoa opinion.
The yeller.
Whoa opinion. So, words of the day. Back to the dead space.
I thought those words of the day were great. That's me right now trying to figure out what colors to do. I am having a slow opinion. So I'm going to do this one with like a, I don't know, like kind of a silvery, not a silver, but a gray. Oh, that's too dark though. And I will list all the colors that I used. Not that it matters so much because my color, my colors aren't that great, but you could color them any way you want. So what did I use for the top of the chicken? I used YR65. So I'm going to put a little gray here. A little gray on the top of the birdhouse. And then we'll do this all in the gray. And I'm just going to color those dots in, and then we'll get to our next. I'm going to color all over these dots because I don't think it really matters here. And we'll do something a little yellowy along the edge there. Probably could have used that guy, but, and I know I see the top. I'll fix that. All right, we'll do a couple of yellow dots in here. We'll do blue. We'll do green. They're so tiny, it's kind of hard to see them anyway. Maybe a couple red. But I definitely have to get myself those nibs going. Maybe an orangey one. Okay. I think I'll do all these in red. Can also like go over these with like little rhinestones or crystals or something if you want to add a little zing. I think the red is cute. And let's go back to that N1. I'll just fill this in here. Okay, good enough. We don't have to belabor the coloring part of this too much. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be brave, and I'm going to stamp some of the little postage things in here with an acrylic block. So that's scary, but it needs to be done. So I've got a couple of the Gina K comfort blocks, and I'm going to, let's see, I think if we did like forever, we could do forever up here. Let's do forever up there. And I need my black ink. So I want this to be straight, so I'm gonna kind of look at it this way on an angle. I always like to test my stamps before I stamp them, just to make sure they're stamping well. That looks pretty good. And then I'm going to stamp this. I'm going to hold that down and stamp it right here. There we go. Okay, so we've got forever there. Remember, these are supposed to look like postage stamps, so those words sometimes are stamped vertically like that. And then let's put first class on the bunny. I think it's going to fit the best on the bunny. Like right here, maybe? Yeah, let's do that. I think. Let me think about it for a minute. Let me think. Maybe not. Maybe we'll do like a little number, like right down here. I feel like this spot right here is better for the bunny. So let's put 10 cents there. You really have to think about it. That looks pretty good. There we go, 10 cents. We're not done though, because we are going to modify these. We're going to cut this apart. And then for the little chick, well, actually down here, I'm going to put 50 cents down here. We'll ink that up and test it. Looks good. So we'll do that one on the inside here.
Several requests for the bunny nose and tie.
Oh, yes. Good idea. Good thinking. We will do that. Bunny nose and tie. And then I really like to have the grid on the bottom when I'm stamping. 5 cents. We'll put that on the little baby chick. There we go. And let's do a dab of orange on the chick nose, a dab of pink on the bunny nose, and let's make the tie. Let's get a whole different color into the mix here. Let's make the tie purple. So we don't have any purple. Just do his little tie in purple. Good thinking. Thank you for keeping track of me. All right, now the scary part begins. I gotta keep this color out too. Now the scary part begins. I'm gonna cut these up, okay? So I wanna make sure I have big enough scissors here. I'm gonna use these big scissors from Simon Says Stamp. So I'm going to start by cutting down the center, and I just want to get my scissors right in the center there. There's like a little center, and I want to go right straight down the center. You can cut it one hole at a time if you want, just to make sure you're getting straight. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna keep going. Okay, I'm not worried about down here. Okay, now I'm gonna do it across the center here, just getting the hook, like this part way back here of the scissor right into the center, and then just cutting one at a time, making sure I'm staying as straight as I can. I guess you could do this with a paper cutter. I don't feel like I'm that good to do it with a paper cutter. And it is going to look a little different than the other side, but I think once we get this all laid out, it's going to look fine.
Any idea best places to order the Copic's nibs?
I would check scrapbook.com and Simon Says Stamp, places like that. You could also check at your local art stores, or you can contact your local craft shops and see if they carry them. I got mine many years ago at my local art supply. I think it was a Blick that I got it at. All right, so these are going to get thrown away, but I would just do a search, you know, do an internet search and see what you find. It's been a long time since I've purchased them, and I have a whole bag of them, and I just want to get my, you know, I want to get them done. I already lost one of the little stamps, but I'll find it later. Okay, so now it's time to create a little card out of these. So let's push these aside, and somebody said Simon Says Stamp has them? Oh, good, good, good. And Blick, okay, good. Probably most of the stores that would carry Copic would carry the Copic supplies as well. So let's do a little Master Layouts 2 here, and I will zoom out, I promise. This is very close. I'm going to get a white piece of cardstock, and I'm going to cut a Master Layouts 2 die. So let me find my Master Layouts 2 die set here. Here it is. And I'm going to cut the stitched one because I want this to be a little bit smaller, because we don't have much here to work with. We've only got 4 little stamps, so we don't want this panel to be too big. Okay. And then we want to do, what color should we do? I know. How about black? I can't make a card without black. Let me get one of my ugly pieces of black here, my crunchy ones that are bent. Here's one. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, at Gina K Designs, whenever we get bent corners, our cardstock comes in. It comes in on these huge sheets of like 26 by 40, and we cut them down. But if there's anything that's bent or doesn't look right, that's the cardstock that I get to use. So a lot of my cardstock has bent edges, and that's not the way we sell it, but that's, you know, I take it because it's the yucky cardstock, but it still works. I usually die cut everything anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me, but we would never sell it to you that way. All right, now we're going to figure out how we want this to look. So I think we could do like a bunny here, and then we could do something here like this. And then we could do like a little birdhouse here. Gosh, I hate to cover that. Maybe I'll do that and do like the little birdhouse over here. Let's slip that one under there. And then we could put this guy over here. Let's move this. We could put this guy over here like this, and then we leave this space down here for our little greeting. So that's kind of a cute collage. We can move this one down a little bit too to space things out, because I like the 4. You could also just do the 3, but then you'd have kind of an opening up here. So let's go ahead and put this together, and then we'll decide where we want the greeting. And we can also decide if we want to pop some of these boxes up, which I think would be fun to do.
So did you put your intercut mat in the dishwasher yet?
I did, and it flattened out beautifully. I did. Yes, yes, yes. Flattened out so nice. Here it is. This is the one I took home. Not bad, huh? Pretty good. I have 2, so I just take one home and flatten it out every now and then. So let's pop up the top two, and then we'll put these two like down flat so we get a little dimension up here at the top.
Sandy wants to know, do you need a grounding element for something like this?
I don't think so. I don't think you do. I think this is going to be just fine. I think you've got quite a lot going on here, but if you feel like the background is too plain and you need something, you might want to do an embossing folder. But remember, we still are going to stamp our greeting over here, and I am going to use one of these little greetings from the set. So, you know, I think I want to do spring blessings in here. So I'll just put that in the empty space. And for those of you that don't know what a grounding element is, I always like when I'm doing like flowers or things like that, rather than just glue them into the center of a piece of cardstock, I like to ground them in some way with something like, you know, an oval, where then you put like the flowers into the oval and add the greeting. It just kind of creates a little space from the back. But because we have all these cute little images here and there's a lot going on, I don't think we need the grounding element this time. So let's get some foam squares. We'll pop these two up, leave these two flat. So we'll start with this. Just pulling them right out of the center. And then oh, I see it. Everything's staticky. It's cold here again. It was beautiful. And then by next Monday, it's going to be like 65 again here. Honestly, I have never seen a winter like this, but I'm not complaining too much because I do like that warm weather. Okay, we'll put this one up here like this. We could pop everything up. It would be kind of cute. And get a lot of dimension in there anyway. We probably should have put this one down first. So I'll just lift that corner and get this in place. It's going to come down more though. Like that. And then this over here. Okay, we'll do that. We'll get this one down and we won't pop them all up. We'll put this one down first. This one we went down a little bit further. And to place these, like one thing to make it look a little bit more balanced is I am trying to keep this edge even with this edge, if that makes sense. I don't want to go too far in. And I think that's going to look pretty good. Let's pull that up there. And I also don't want to go too far up. I think that looks pretty good.
Question, can the intricate machine be used by a lefty?
Sure. Just all you have to do is turn it around on your table and it'll be perfect for a lefty. I'm going to move this down even a little bit more because of that other little chick. So I still want it under there, but I want it down just a little further. Yeah, the intricate, I mean, the dial on the side, it can be used by either hand, and you could see it. You still have to look at it from the side to see it. So absolutely, you know, just turn it and it should be fine. Make this one here like this. Get a little tape in that corner. And let's pop this one up right here. We'll do 2 foam squares, and then we're gonna use the Misty to stamp the greeting. Yeah, it's kind of like it's the same both ways, you know, so there's not really a front to the intricate, because I see some people saying that they don't really have issues with any die cutting machine. Ooh, it's going to be too high. I need to move this over a bit. Yeah, and then we'll put some tape on this. Let's get that where we want it. Cute, cute. Yeah, like that. Oh, I like the little dimension at the top of that. So let me grab the Misty, and we'll add our greeting, and then we'll pop this onto a card base. So let's do Spring Blessings down here. I think that should fit, hopefully. Yep, that'll fit in there. I think that'll look good. Yes. And if we're not 100% sure, you know, you can always do that little thing with the acetate sheet that I do in just about every video. But I'm going to take a chance and assume that this is straight. Oof. Not always a good plan to assume. Looks pretty good. Got lucky. Ooh, that looks pretty. My static. I'm going to be looking for the other stamp that I lost anyway, so I'll clean that up later. All right, now we need to pick a card base color. And I'm thinking either a pink or a purple. So let's take a look. We have, if we want to go super light and springy, we do have some lovely lavender here, which might be a really pretty Eastery, springy card. Kind of like that. But if we want to go bright, we could use Wild Lilac. And that would definitely be a brighter look. Then, if we wanted to go pink, we could go, I feel like Innocent Pink is going to be the right pink for this. Innocent Pink. All right, so what do you guys think? I have a yellow one to show you. So yellow is a definite, but I have a yellow one to show you. Let me show you the yellow one that I did earlier. This is the yellow one that I did, and I used much brighter colors. So this is a more vibrant look, and I'll show you that one again. All right, I see a lot more lavenders than anything. What are you seeing, Tom?
Yes.
A lot of lavenders out there? Okay. We'll go with the lavender. It is very soft. Very, very soft. But I think it's nice for a spring card. Why not? Well, I've got a little something on there, but that's all right. Nobody will care. This is my pastel version, and then I have my bright version. That is pretty. That just looks nice with that color right there. And then we'll put a couple little embellishments on this. Just a couple little pearls. It's so pretty and soft. And then we'll grab our little pearls here. Let me get my Connect glue. And I did just a little thing here where I put like, I could do like one here, one up here, and then maybe one over here. So let's see what we can pick out of here. These are all mixed up. Terrible. Ooh, a yellow would be cute. Could do a yellow there. And what else do we have? I want to do the small ones. Let's pull a few more. Ooh, purple would be cute. It's kind of a purpley pink. Could do that. And then how about just one brighter pink one up here? There we go.
What size is that card?
This card is an A2 card, so it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 when it's folded. The card base was 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and then I scored it on the 4 1/4 inch line and folded it in half. So there's my pastel version. And here is my bright yellow version. Both are really fun and really cute. And it's just a way to take that big postage die that was meant to be used all in one fell swoop and instead just kind of piece it out and make a little collage of postage stamps. And then don't forget, you gotta try some of those cute little masking techniques where you can kind of stack the little chick on top of the bunny, or have the chick standing on top of one of the bird houses or something like that using the masking paper. That's so much fun. And of course, you can always just put a happy Easter greeting, and this is the perfect Easter card for anybody. All right, Tom, we're going to give away a gift card.
Wow, yeah.
All right, let's give a gift certificate away to one of our lovely commenters out there.
All right, here goes. Turning our drummer loose. Ba-ba. Winner today is Cathleen Henry. Kathleen Henry.
Yay, Kathleen, congratulations. Just send your name and your email address to info@ginakdesigns.com, and we will send you a $15 digital gift card to use whenever you want. All right, everybody. Well, this was so much fun. I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you picked up a few tips and tricks for masking and, you know, maybe some different ways to use a postage grid die. Tom and I will be back next Tuesday night with another Stampin' Chat Live. Until then, enjoy your weekend. Stay safe and healthy. We love you all so very much. And we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.